correct method for tapping a 208Y/120 volts 3-phase meter center to feed a single-phase 240/120 volts panel involves several steps in adherence to electrical codes, specifically National Electrical Code Section 215.2 A3. Firstly, confirm that the electrical system is indeed a 208Y/120 volts 3-phase system. Use a voltmeter to verify the voltage between phases and from each phase to neutral. This is a critical first step to ensure compatibility and safety. Secondly, disconnect the main breaker and all other circuit breakers in the meter center. This is essential to prevent electrical shock and ensure a safe working environment. Before proceeding with any wiring changes, ensure the power is completely off. Thirdly, carefully remove the cover plate from the meter center. This will expose the terminals and wiring necessary for making the connections. Take precautions to avoid touching any exposed conductors or components. Fourthly, locate the A and C phase terminals on the output side of the meter. These are the terminals that will provide the 240 volt single-phase power. The output side is typically the side that feeds the loader or distribution panel. Fifthly, connect line 1, which is the 240 volts line of the single-phase panel to the A-phase terminal. Use appropriately sized wire and connectors that are rated for the voltage and amperage. Ensure the connection is tight and secure. Sixthly, connect line 2, which is the other 240 volts line of the single-phase panel to the C-phase terminal. Again, use the correct wire size and connectors, and ensure a tight and secure connection. Seventhly, connect the neutral terminal of the single-phase panel to the neutral terminal of the meter center. The neutral connection is critical for providing a return path for the current and ensuring proper operation of the single-phase panel. Eighthly, after making all the connections, reconnect the main breaker and verify that all circuits are operational. Use a voltmeter to check the voltage at the single-phase panel and ensure that it is 240/120 volts. In addition to these steps, there are several additional considerations to keep in mind. Firstly, the wattage of the single-phase panel must not exceed the capacity of the 208Y/120 volts system. Overloading the system can cause overheating, voltage drop, and potentially damage to the equipment. Secondly, the circuit breakers in the single-phase panel should be sized appropriately for the load requirements. Using the correct size breakers is essential for protecting the circuits from overcurrents and short circuits. Thirdly, it's crucial to understand that this method provides a single-phase 240/120 volt supply from a three-phase system. It is not suitable for feeding three-phase loads. If you need to power three-phase equipment, you will need a different wiring configuration or a phase converter. Finally, consult with a licensed electrician if you are not comfortable performing this work yourself. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is always best to have a qualified professional handle it. Here's a more detailed breakdown of the voltage considerations. In a 208Y/120 volts three-phase system, the voltage between any two-phase conductors, such as A and B, B and C, or A and C, is 208 volts. The voltage between any phase conductor and the neutral conductor is 120 volts. By connecting to the A and C phases, you are essentially taking advantage of the 208 volts phase-to-phase voltage. When you tap the A and C phases, you are creating a single-phase 240 volt supply. The 120 volts is derived by using the center tap, which is the neutral. This configuration is commonly used to supply 240/120 volts loads such as appliances and lighting. Now let's delve deeper into the National Electrical Code, or NEC, requirements. NEC Section 215.2 A3 provides guidelines for feeder conductors. It states that the feeder neutral load shall be permitted to be calculated as the maximum net calculated load between the neutral and any one ungrounded conductor. This means you need to calculate the neutral load based on the largest imbalance between the phase conductors. In this case, since you are deriving a single-phase load from two phases of a three-phase system, you need to ensure that the neutral conductor is sized appropriately to carry the maximum potential neutral current. The NEC provides tables and guidelines for determining the appropriate conductor size based on the calculated load and the ampacity of the conductor. Ampacity is the current carrying capacity of a conductor, and it is affected by factors such as the conductor material, size, insulation type, and the ambient temperature. NEC Table 310.15 B16 provides ampacity ratings for various conductor types and sizes. When selecting conductors, it is important to consider the termination temperature ratings of the equipment. Some equipment is only rated for 60 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Celsius terminations, while others are rated for 90 degrees Celsius terminations. You must use conductors with an ampacity rating that is suitable for the lowest temperature rating of the terminations. Furthermore, NEC Section 250 provides requirements for grounding and bonding. Grounding is the connection of a circuit or equipment to the earth, while bonding is the connection of conductive parts to create an electrically conductive path. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for safety and for preventing electrical shock. The NEC requires that all non-current carrying metal parts of electrical equipment be grounded. This includes the metal enclosures of panels, boxes, and raceways. The grounding conductor must be sized in accordance with NEC Table 250.122. In addition to grounding, bonding is also important. Bonding ensures that all metal parts are at the same electrical potential, which reduces the risk of electrical shock. The NEC requires that all metal parts that are likely to become energized be bonded together. This includes metal water pipes, gas pipes, and structural steel. The bonding conductor must be sized in accordance with NEC Table 250.102. When making connections, it is important to use the correct types of connectors. There are various types of connectors available, such as wire nuts, crimp connectors, and set screw connectors. Each type of connector is designed for a specific purpose, and it is important to use the correct connector for the application. Wire nuts are commonly used for connecting small gauge wires, while crimp connectors are used for connecting larger gauge wires. Set screw connectors are used for connecting conductors to terminals or equipment. Ensure that the connectors are properly tightened to provide a secure and reliable connection. Loose connections can cause overheating, voltage drop, and potentially electrical fires. Also, consider the use of a surge protective device, or SPD. An SPD is a device that protects electrical equipment from voltage surges, such as those caused by lightning strikes or power line transients. SPD are typically installed at the service entrance or at the equipment being protected. The NEC requires that SPD be listed and labeled for the application. They come in different voltage ratings, typically 120 volts, 208 volts, 277 volts, 480 volts, and so forth, so you need to choose one that matches the voltage of your system. Furthermore, labeling is essential. After completing the wiring, label the single-phase panel to indicate that it is derived from a 208Y/120 volts three-phase system. This will help prevent confusion in the future and ensure that others are aware of the wiring configuration. Use a permanent marker or a label maker to create a clear and legible label. Place the label in a prominent location on the panel. Remember that electrical codes and regulations can vary depending on your location. It is important to consult with your local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction, ORJ, to ensure that your wiring complies with all applicable codes. They can provide guidance on specific requirements and interpretations of the NEC. Also, before starting any electrical work, always obtain the necessary permits. Permits are required for most electrical installations, and they help ensure that the work is done safely and in accordance with code. The permit process typically involves submitting plans and specifications to the AHJ for approval. Once the work is completed, the AHJ will inspect the installation to ensure that it meets the code requirements. In summary, tapping a 208Y/120 volts three-phase meter center to feed a single-phase 240/120 volts panel requires careful planning, attention to detail, and adherence to electrical codes. By following the steps outlined above and taking the necessary precautions, you can safely and effectively provide power to your single-phase loads. However, if you are not comfortable performing this work yourself, it is always best to consult with a licensed electrician.